money for that.
Okay, so I'll come back to you later, and I'd like you to tell us, the general public, what is it that we all stand to benefit with the provision of these 307 ambulances? How will this add to the fleet that you already have? What will the final figure after today turn out to be across the country? So you chew on that whilst we go into the van and see what services are provided here. So I'll go in with the dudes and Mr. Damansuglu. So you tell us. So we are currently in the van. This is one of the 307 ambulances that have been brought into the country, which shortly will be commissioned and distributed to all constituencies across the country. But indeed, what are these ambulances made of? What kind of services can these ambulances offer? You tell me, Mike.
Yes, you see, this particular ambulance or these ambulances that have just been brought into the country is a state-of-the-art ambulance. You know, if you compare this particular ambulance with the T5, that is the VW that was imported into the country somewhere in 2012, you will see that it is more enhanced, because first, we are not having fetal monitor. This is the fetal moniter. If you are transporting a pregnant woman, with this fetal monitor, you are able to listen to the breath, the lung sounds, or you are able to give all the interventions you need. Oximeters enable us to take the oxygen saturation in the blood of the patient to determine whether how much oxygen you should deliver. For instance, if we were transporting a patient who is diabetic, it was difficult to check the glucose or the sugar level. But these days, with these ambulances, we have all those, gadgets and nets. And not only that, because you can see many of them, and I will just leave some for my colleagues to continue.
Yes, but before then, I have a question. I know that whilst you are transporting a patient from one point to another, you may need to communicate with the receiving hospital or medical facility. Are there any gadgets that will enable you contact a doctor and tell him the kind of situation you have at hand and which he should prepare for?
Sure.
Yes.
You can see that they have fixed all the gadgets over there.
Right.
We have the communication, go test and everything in there. You can see there's one telephone here. The driver has one just by him. So whatever the medics are in here and the medic driver, if the condition is getting bad, the medics here can talk in the state of the arts. Emergency medical services are inside these ambulances. They are more equipped. They are just mini theater or mini hospitals, and we are so blessed to have them.
And that sometimes you are in an ambulance, but even oxygen is.
So in pre-hospital care, oxygen is supposed to provide, actually, because of the thing is locked. Yeah, so we have 2 oxygen cylinders here. You're supposed to administer oxygen from. So at this point, we actually have 2 twins, and you need to give all of them oxygen. So they made provision for 2 that you can actually give. So in this particular ambulance, it is well equipped, and the cylinder is not 1, it's actually 2. So when one is exhausted, then you go onto the other one. You can immediately actually make provision for the next one when you hand over your patient. So with this one,
so I do hope we get the opportunity to speak again at the tail end of the ceremony. There's a ceremony here in the country.
Development Authority CEO, Honorable Jerry Ahmed. And very soon, the President will be arriving. Piece of work that we need to recognize. We'll get an ambulance. So no constituency will live here empty-handed. We have
Order! Stand!
that is the National Ambulance Service doing so well. Want to recognize the presence and still the presence of His Excellency and that people call the technology man. His Excellency the Vice President is in our midst, and this is a very special occasion. I remember the Ministry of Special Development Initiative carrying out, and one singular item that featured, one item that each of them makes us very important to the people of this country. Stated and hinted by the minister that no constituency will live here, will go over an ambulance. At least each of them will go over an ambulance. Leaders, they've done so well. They've been the government, to our traditional leaders. Regional chairman of the ruling New Patriotic Party, Honorable Divine Agohum. We have Chairman Omari Wadie. He's also a vice chairman of New Patriotic Party. I've seen lots of dignitaries to witness this auspicious occasion. Very important. 307 ambulances are going to be distributed. And this is, as stated by the CEO of Ghana Ambulance Service, a minister whose ministry delivered these ambulances. And we have the minister, the minister is the Honorable Kwaku. Beautiful ambulances, and we are going to put them into good use.